Hello, dear. It's your mother. It seems like we never hear from you anymore. Well, don't worry. Your father and I are fine. And honey, when you get tired of living in that damp, chilly house, your room at home is still waiting for you. Make sure you're taking your vitamins and using that nice umbrella Aunt Selma gave you last Christmas. Okay? I love you. Bye.
Hello? Remember me? Your editor? You're not answering your calls, are you? I'm getting tired of talking to a machine. I thought you'd be home writing, but apparently you're not. You know, I can't send out that advance until I actually see some of that story you're working on. Call me back. This is Jeremiah Crick. Something has happened. Something horrible. I have to leave immediately. I don't know how long I'll be gone. Amanda is here at the Lighthouse. I don't want to leave her alone. Please come right away. If you don't hear from me soon, it will mean that I have failed. And then... Oh, God, I just can't think of that now. There is no time. I have no choice. Please, you're the only one who can help me. Come now.
April 12, 8 a.m. In unpacking a recent shipment of books from the university, I came across an arcane work entitled The Godel Universe. Browsing through it idly, I was surprised to discover a theory about the space-time continuum that today's theoretical physicists have either forgotten or ignored. Godel's theory is based on a group of motions of Bianchi type 8, in which the invariant varieties for the motions are three-dimensional hypersurfaces containing null and time-like lines, i.e., the orthogonals to these hypersurfaces are space-like. However, the Godel universe admits a four-parameter group in which the Bianchi type 8 is an invariant subgroup. May 11, 3 p.m. Today, I opened the gate and was about to begin modifications when a figure suddenly appeared on the other side. It was bipedal and roughly shaped and sized like a man, though impossibly thin, with long limbs. I was startled and prepared to shut down the device, but the creature made no move toward me, just peered curiously, first at the portal and then at myself. Its eyes were small and intelligent, almost mischievous, but there was no malice in them. We stared at each other for as long as a minute. Then it turned and loped out of my view. This visitation confirms a growing suspicion that I have discovered some kind of parallel universe, for the creature is of a species not to be found upon this earth. July 1st, 4 p.m. I have just returned from the other side. As on the previous test run, the portal stayed open for almost an hour, convincing me that my most recent modifications to the power modulation tube were successful. On this last trip, I extended my explorations, following the path until I came to a tall building some distance down the rocky coast. Approaching the tower, I was surprised to hear a voice call to me from a high window. I looked up to see a man waving excitedly. To my surprise, I could understand his speech. He invited me to come up at once. Thus, I made the acquaintance of another inhabitant in what I have come to think of as a parallel world. The eccentric old man turned out to be an inventor of strange animated contraptions. We sat in his workshop surrounded by mechanical odds and ends. His talk rambled from subject to subject in a disjointed manner I could not entirely follow. Several times he mentioned a dark being whom he feared and warned me about in gibbered, broken words. I believe it is the creature from the beach. Much of his rambling I was unable to comprehend. As I prepared to return to the portal, he suddenly began rooting among an assortment of gadgetry. After a few moments, the inventor revealed an intricate decorative box. To my surprise, he pressed it upon me with the utmost urgency. The inventor is obviously deranged, though his inventions indicate genius as well. His strange behavior made me fear for my safety. I felt a sudden, urgent desire to return to the portal, and so, thanking him for his gift, I departed. The return to this world was uneventful, but I am troubled. Just what was the inventor trying to tell me? I have examined the box closely and have opened 2 of its inner panels, but I am unable to continue further. April 12, 8 a.m. In unpacking a recent shipment of books from the university, I came across an arcane work entitled The Godel Universe. Browsing through it idly, I was surprised to discover a theory about the space-time continuum that today... thus revealing a universe both homogeneous and stationary. This stationary characteristic makes the model unsuitable for our representation. April 29, 11 p.m. I have modified the algorithm to include Gödel's theory and focus the Fresnel lens accordingly. The storm is supposed to move in sometime after midnight. I will wait up for it, though these late nights are taking their toll. Hopefully this storm will be intense and the lightning rod will attract the bolt. If the power modulation tube can withstand the initial blast of energy, it should regulate the flow through the Fresnel lens, which in turn will focus it directly into my device. Maybe this time I will get some conclusive results. April 30, 7 a.m. Something unexpected and quite remarkable. The storm hit after midnight and peaked shortly before 5 a.m. The lightning was frequent and directly overhead. The energy cells charged quickly to maximum capacity. At 5:25, I made some adjustments to the power modulation parameters and turned on the machine. The Fresnel lens focused the massive waves of energy passing through the device, and as I had predicted, a distortion in space occurred before the device. To my amazement, the distortion began to deform. I stared in disbelief as the anomaly I had created burst like a bubble, revealing a portal in the fabric of space. Through the portal, I caught a glimpse of a rugged land, possibly a rocky shore, as I thought I saw water in the distance. Certainly no place around here, no place I had ever seen before. After just a few moments, a sudden power surge collapsed the energy field and blew the fuses. Stunned by what I had seen, I sat in the dark, thinking and listening to the diminishing rain. Amanda's waking cry finally brought me to my senses. I do not understand what I have witnessed. The only explanation I can devise is that if indeed our universe is as a single sheet of paper, then there may be other sheets or universes layered with our own. If the portal caused the space-time continuum to fold, another universe may have been crumpled up alongside of this one. I must continue my experiments in this uncharted territory and hope for enlightenment somewhere along the way. My first task will be to modify the energy consumption so that I can control the gate and increase the time it stays open. May 2nd, 9 p.m. I have had limited success modulating the power supply, and I am unsure how to stabilize the gate. An hour ago, I programmed the gate to stay open for 6 minutes. It opened and I stepped through. The sensation was strange, but not painful. I felt a strong pulling force, as if my body was stretching like saltwater taffy. The light brightened to an intense glare. My eyes blurred with tears, distorting shapes and colors. Gradually, the pulling subsided and my vision cleared. I found myself standing on the rocky shore I had seen through the portal. I turned and, much to my reassurance, saw the portal still open behind me. A large body of water was just visible at the foot of a narrow path. I heard the muffled roar of the surf, though I was too far away to see the waves. Bending down, I picked up a rock. It seemed solid enough. Affected by a sudden nervousness, I dropped the rock and went back through the portal. This time, the sensation was one of being pushed, almost violently, and I stumbled and fell to my knees on the laboratory floor. May 11, 3 p.m. May 19, 11 a.m. Today, the creature returned. He approached the portal cautiously, sniffed it, then reached out with a finger as black and gnarled as a burnt twig. Testing the limits of his boldness, I beckoned him to come over. In a single bound, the creature was through the portal. He crouched before me, looking like nothing so much as a giant spider. I noticed strange geometric tattoos on his chest and upper arms. I watched him carefully for the duration of his visit, but all he did was peer inquisitively at the equipment. Twice, when a particular device caught his interest, he glanced at me, as if asking a question. His behavior almost made me laugh, as his furrowed black brow and tapering fingers made me think of a monkey exploring a new cage. When the energy levels approached instability, I coughed once to get the creature's attention and pointed to the portal. Apparently understanding my meaning, he took one last look around the laboratory, then went to the portal and stepped through. I just had time to see him safely on the other side before the power supply collapsed and the lights went out. July 1st, 4 p.m. I have just thus May 25, 6 p.m. Perhaps I have been unwise in allowing the creature frequent access to my laboratory. Our mutual curiosity seemed reason enough at the time, but now I am uncertain. Since his first appearance, the creature has been waiting for me every time I activate the portal into his world. He would watch me work or study the equipment, but he never touched anything or interfered in any way. I must have become accustomed to his presence because today, after opening the gate and watching the creature cross over, I focused my attention on my work. When I looked up from the computer, he was gone. Upon examining my equipment, I discovered that a power modulation tube was missing. Although the tubes are expensive, I have several spares, so the loss is not too serious. I am concerned the creature's motivation may go beyond mere curiosity. Though his action does not necessitate curtailment of my experiments, I will restrict his access to my laboratory. May 27, 3 a.m. I have built a cage around the portal so that the creature cannot wander freely about the lab. When I opened the portal earlier this evening, he was not waiting on the other side. No doubt he realized that I must have learned of his thievery and hesitated to show himself again. I pretended to be absorbed in my work. After a few minutes, I caught a peripheral glimpse of a shadow crossing the portal into the cage. I turned toward him. The creature did not appear disturbed by the cage. He crouched on his haunches and stared at me without expression. Though I felt uneasy, I forced myself back to work. The minutes passed slowly. Finally, it was time to shut off the power to the gate. When I reached for the switch, the creature leapt across the portal. Obviously, he understands some of what I do and knew his escape route was threatened. We have been unable to communicate, but I am beginning to think there may be deeper, more devious aspects to his intelligence. June 14, 2 p.m. It has been over a week since I last saw the creature. He has returned less often since I built the cage over the portal. I am continuing my work to stabilize the energy field, thus far without success. Now that I am not constantly watched by the creature, I have a revitalized energy, enabling me to work straight through most nights. The lack of sleep makes me irritable, a mood that must be contagious, as Mandy is unusually ill-tempered as well. I'm sure our new neighbor must think us both a bit peculiar, though our infrequent exchanges have been pleasant enough. Since Diana's death, I have had little interest in such things as friends. Perhaps that is not entirely healthy, though now I have no time for such thoughts. I digress, probably due to my long hours. Hopefully, soon I will have results to show for my labors. July 7, 11 p.m. A breakthrough. I added a new parameter which eliminated the instability factor. The equation now allows for the possibility of a permanent gateway, stable for an indefinite period of time. I am feeling ill, and I am afraid my lack of sleep is clouding my judgment. The final modifications on the equipment must keep until tomorrow morning. July 7, 2 a.m. My worst fears have come true. The dark being has somehow copied my device and has created its own portal between the worlds. I awoke to the unmistakable electric snap of the portal closing. That thing has been in my lab. It has stolen more equipment and, to my horror, my blueprints for the gate device. I am such a fool. I am preparing to follow it through. I will only have an hour before the gate closes, and I do not know where the creature has gone. I have been so blind, doing nothing while it has schemed to steal my invention. I must stop it. I must destroy its gateway into our world. Oh, dear God, let me be in time.